Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. All of the XRP investors dating back to literally a decade ago who insisted that we would eventually enter a world where pretty much every financial asset is tokenized on a blockchain. All those XRP holders who said, yes, that's the future, they were correct. And we've all been vindicated now. And I was talking about this in my earliest of days. It was so obvious that this is the case. XRP Ledger with a built-in decentralized exchange and the ability to tokenize any asset you want on the blockchain. It was just obvious that would be the future, because even if the only reasons were for increased efficiencies, like even that would be good enough reason for that to happen. Now you needed maturation of the asset class. You needed additional confidence in the space. You needed to show a long track record of various blockchains existing without successfully being hacked. And by the way, that's one of the benefits of the XRP Ledger, to be clear. It has something that you cannot program into it: time. The fact that XRP has been around and the XRP Ledger has been around for over a decade, and it's, hackers have been attempting to destroy it ever since its inception, and they failed. Well, if you're somebody that wants to tokenize on a blockchain, you're going to look at the oldest chains first as for consideration. Because even if there's a brand new chain that in theory has a metric or two that are better or faster or this or that, who cares? When security matters, folks, okay? And the XRP Ledger just freaking works. And so this world where every financial asset just about on the planet is tokenized, that's what we're entering right now. All of us who said that made sense over half a decade ago, we were correct, and it's happening right now. And this will help to ensure the long-term viability of XRP and the XRP Ledger. That's why it matters to you as an XRP holder. And so I got a few stories to share with you in this very latest Moon Lambo hot jam, starting with this one from CoinDesk. XRP Ledger tapped for tokenizing $130 million agribusiness credit as Brazil's real-world asset push accelerates. Then there's this: Ripple's RLUSD ranked #1 stablecoin by Blue Chip with A rating. And folks, that's right out the gate. Mind you, RLUSD has only existed, it's only been live since December of last year. It's been a little over half a year. Turns out credibility in this space actually matters. I think this is going to work out just fine. And then we've got this: Japan just found a way to let you earn XRP without spending yen. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, into this first piece right here. Brazilian securitization firm Vert has launched a blockchain-based private credit platform on the XRP Ledger, debuting with a Brazilian real 700 million, which is approximately $130 million. That's an issuance of an agribusiness receivables certificate, or CRA for short. The CRA, a key instrument used to bundle future cash flows from Brazil's agriculture sector, was recorded on-chain using the XRP Ledger and its Ethereum-compatible EVM sidechain, allowing real-time tracking of cash flows, loan events, and payments. And so I'll pause here to be very clear. This literally cannot happen without XRP on the XRP Ledger, because that's the way it's coded. Every single transaction of anything that's tokenized on the XRP Ledger requires XRP to be burnt. A tiny little fraction of XRP gets destroyed permanently, because that makes XRP deflationary, by the way, by code. But a tiny piece of each XRP of an XRP it gets destroyed with every single transaction that occurs on the XRP blockchain. So XRP by the code is required. So then, if XRP is going to continue to be one of the places, not the only place, but one of the places that entities go to tokenize financial assets, don't you think then, if that's the case, and it's just obviously that's the state of things, don't you then think that as people and businesses and institutions increasingly want to get exposure to the crypto asset class in terms of investing, that XRP will increasingly be a part of that? Because won't these investors recognize, wow, okay, this XRP thing, probably safe to invest here, because since it's useful, XRP's, it's not going to cease to exist, so it's got utility, probably safe place to invest if you're going to jump in the crypto space. Don't you think that's going to be part of the thought process for individuals, businesses, and institutions when investing in the crypto space? I'm thinking the answer is yes. That's just such an obvious thing. It's such a no-brainer. Piece continues, Vert's new platform aims to modernize Brazil's $200 billion private credit market by offering end-to-end lifecycle traceability, compliant metadata storage, and real-time updates for investors and regulators. The firm states that the system integrates both on-chain recording and off-chain redundancy, thereby bridging Brazil's regulated financial infrastructure with blockchain rails. We are enabling operation events to be recorded in the most granular way possible, ensuring traceability and transparency, approaching real time, said Gabriel Braga, Director of Digital Assets at Verts. The XRP Ledger's low cost, it turns out that actually matters, folks. XRP Ledger's low cost, high efficiency consensus design, alongside its EVM compatibility, allowed for smart contract automation and auditability. Foreign investors, Braga noted, have increasingly demanded this level of operational transparency. So, folks, the fact that XRP, broadly speaking, has the bells and whistles that it has, but is also, broadly speaking, just really good at payments, turns out we were right that in the future, which we're now living in, this is the future we discussed over half a decade ago, turns out they do value that. And here we are, and this is one of many reasons that XRP has always been in the top 10 coins by market cap for its entire existence, despite the SEC attack, which many people believed was going to destroy XRP and push it out of the top 10 coins. But that didn't happen. And then we had this. Pantera Capital says, tipping point for tokenization likely approaching as sector mirrors the early days of ETFs. And this is so cool. It's on the same topic here effectively. Tokenization, is anybody disputed at this point? It was more controversial to say this back in 2017 and 2018. Does anybody dispute it now? Every financial asset just about on the planet is going to be tokenized. Like, why would you not do that? And so here you have Pantera Capital, which, by the way, they were the first ones, I believe, to launch a Bitcoin fund in the United States back in 2013. They're run by Dan Moorhead, sharp guy. I don't know what, Dan Moorhead doesn't talk about XRP frequently, and he hasn't in a long time, but I remember years ago, he said that he believed XRP would be one of the few coins that would actually be here long term. He was predicting XRP as one of the winners of the space long time ago. And I don't know if his views have changed. I haven't seen anything from him on that, but he spoke very confidently about it back in the day anyway. So anyway, that's the Pantera Capital guy. But so check this out. Pantera Capital in their new newsletter here wrote the following. When the first U.S. equity ETF launched in 1993, it crossed $1 billion in assets under management within a year. But the real inflection point wasn't its size. It was when ETF volumes began consistently matching and eventually exceeding mutual fund flows. That's when market structure changed and investor behavior soon followed. We believe tokenization will hit a similar moment in broad market structure transformation and issuer and investor behavior. That's right, folks. Everything under the sun is going to be tokenized. Stocks, mutual funds, treasuries. By the way, the latter two most recently tokenized on the XRP ledger. So, I mean, this is real life stuff. It's not a science experiment or anything like that. It already has happened. And so what they're saying here is there will be an inflection point where this is the norm. And when that happens, you'll see that there are a handful of blockchains, I don't know how many, who are going to be used, which will be used for this use case. And right now, XRP is one of them at this juncture in time. And if it persists and you continue to see this adoption, I'm telling you, even just that use case will firmly supplant XRP as a winner in the space. And I like, in my mind, it's already happened. Like, XRP absolutely is a winner. And I don't know what could possibly go wrong to destroy it at this point, but it is a winner. And the more time passes, the more this stuff happens, the more it's just cemented. That's pretty much it. All right. And then there's this headline. Ripple's RLUSD ranked #1 stablecoin by Blue Chip with A rating. And these next two stories are really just blurbs. I just wanted to mention them because I think they're cool here. But there's this post from Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. He says, in case you missed it, in the midst of all the regulatory goodness last Friday, Blue Chip ranked RLUSD as the #1 most trusted stablecoin in the market. Now, folks, that's big praise coming from Blue Chip and for a coin, RLUSD, which has only been around since December, a little over half a year at this point. That is impressive. Right out the gate, RLUSD, man, it is finding wild success to this point, and we need this to continue, but that's why I said, Ripple launching this when they did, great time. It's early enough in the existence of the crypto asset class that you can still have, you could still create a new stablecoin, and if you do well, you can actually have it become basically a fixture in the crypto space. Another couple decades from now, good luck. That'll be real. It'll be way harder a couple decades from now. And also, given that it's Ripple that's doing that, which, I mean, Ripple, let's be real, they have more money than God. They have a veritable war chest of funds. If anyone can make this work at this point, it's them. And so don't be surprised if that continues to be the case. But understand that RLUSD, yes, it's on multiple blockchains, but it's tokenized on the Xrp ledger, and every transaction on the Xrp ledger requires Xrp. It's another thing that ensures the long-term viability of Xrp and the Xrp ledger. And so here's what Blue Chip wrote. The highest rated stablecoin on Blue Chip has never changed, but today, RLUSD becomes the new #1 ranked stablecoin. Blue Chip is beginning coverage for RLUSD by Ripple with an initial rating of A. This reflects our view that RLUSD is one of the safest stablecoins available. And there you go, Ripple's approach to being the adult in the room, doing everything by the books, from a regulatory perspective, completely compliant, all that. They're doing it, it's being recognized, and it's safe. This is so good for XRP holders. It just is. And then we have this. Japan just found a way to let you earn XRP without spending it. And I thought this is pretty cool here. Is there anything like this in the United States? Check this out. For the first time, cryptocurrencies have been incorporated as redeemable assets within the A+ points program. If you're an A+ credit card holder, you can now convert your rewards into cryptocurrencies, including XRP, Bitcoin, and Ether. This makes A+ the first major Japanese loyalty program to enable direct conversion of points to cryptocurrencies. You know, I think I've read about something in other regions, maybe even the United States, where there's something like this. But it's like at the edge of my brain. So if anybody knows what that is, assuming I'm correct, drop a comment below. I would love to know what that is if my brain isn't tricking me here. But either way, there's more and more of this, and it's just further adoption of crypto, folks. It's just one more thing. And it's a cool little blurb, which is why I thought I'd throw it in at the end of the video here. But you love to see it. You know, this is one more nice little thing. I'll tell you this, I'd rather have rewards in crypto than anything else if I'm going to get rewards from a credit card. So look, all signs point to XRP just continuing to win. There's never been a better time in history to be an XRP holder as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.